there is one primary reason that your YouTube channel is not making as much money as it could be. And in this video, we're going to deep dive into that topic. Really excited about this. I think I'm going to go against some of the conventional wisdom on YouTube and on this topic, but I think it'll make sense as you start thinking about it from the viewer's perspective and probably from your own experience using YouTube. So really excited to dive into it on this video. If you're not familiar with me, my name is Jake. I help people hit consistent 10K months using YouTube and then eventually scaling to that 50 to 100. If you want to learn my consistent path to hitting 10K a month, there's a link down in the description with a 100% free training. You're welcome to check that out. So let's dive in. Why is your YouTube channel maybe not making any money? Maybe you're making a little bit, but you know it's not making as much as it should. I think one of the biggest issues, and we'll talk about this from a few angles in this video, people, especially in the beginning, focus way too much on views and not on collecting the correct customer or collecting the correct ideal viewer. So we're going to talk about this a little bit. The real issue comes down to this core piece is people are not obsessed with your content. Obviously, the question becomes, why is it that they're not obsessed? We're going to look through a lot of examples of this. And by the end of the video, this is hopefully going to really click for you. And I would ask the question, have you ever had a YouTube channel that you were, maybe you wouldn't use the word obsessed with, but like, let's be honest, you were actually addicted or actually a little obsessed with? Maybe it's a channel that you watch literally right now every single day, or maybe there's a season of your life where you watched it every day, or maybe it's something like news and politics. Maybe it's something like sports or gaming. Growing up for me, something like ESPN. For some of you, maybe like a nightly politics, news, whatever, right? Like these things that become such a normal and natural part of our life, it actually is possible either for a season or for life that you can get someone actually obsessed with your content in a very good way. Now, there's a couple reasons this doesn't happen. Truthfully, all three of these could be fully separate videos and probably will be separate videos at some point. Now, this isn't the point of this video, but this is the key to literally everything about your channel. Make sure you're subscribed. I'll do a future video diving deeper into this, but this is why maybe the majority of people like fail at YouTube, is that you don't understand your avatar. I've done this well and I've done it poorly, right? So throughout my experience, I had a season where I was speaking specifically to Christian entrepreneurs about how to get leads for their business. That was very easy because I was speaking very directly to them. I had other seasons where I said, hey, anyone who's not making as much money as they want, here's how you make money online. And it was much less relevant and developed. Even the people who did view my content, the relationship wasn't as deep because we didn't have things in common. Like we didn't have this point of commonality that made them want to watch and connect with me. You have to understand deeply and intimately the person you're talking to. Like when I form these videos, think about the ideas. Like I know the kind of person, 75% of the people who are watching this will fall under my definition I have written out in a Google Doc about my ideal viewer. Second, your content isn't interesting. We have both sides of the spectrum here. Either your content isn't being presented in such a way that it keeps the interest of the person watching, or it's not actually saying anything. If you've ever sat down and watched somebody who said a lot of words and said nothing at the same time, one of those two sides, right? Like not interesting or doesn't actually provide value. So they walk away saying, I didn't get anything from that. And if I didn't get anything from that, I'm not getting anything from anything else that they create. So these are really big issues that come, which is part of why people aren't obsessed. But I actually want to dive into another piece of it in this video, is that you've not yet figured out how to tap into the obsession matrix. Like what is the thing that is going to make someone absolutely obsessed with your content? How do you make your content so good that people obsessively binge it and become loyal, lifelong fans? Again, I would encourage you to maybe even pause this video for a second and just think about some of the channels that you view. Maybe you don't even watch a lot of YouTube. Maybe you can think about it in realm of a TV show. Maybe you think about it actual like cable news that you watch. Whatever it is that you, maybe even it's not watching, but something that you interact with on a daily basis, and you start to break down, why is it that I engage with this? So I have 4 channels here that we're going to take a few minutes and just look at together and dissect some of. Now, this is actually like off the cuff. I made a note of 4 that I know kind of have some of the features that I want to dive into, but they really have nothing to do with each other. They're completely different niches. And one of the big ideas here is the niche actually doesn't matter. I've got a video I'm so excited to make about one of the most ridiculous niches that I've ever heard of. And it works because a niche is nothing more than your personality on display consistently for a long period of time. And then your personality relating it to your customer or your ideal avatar or your ideal viewer when they connect with that constant persona that you have on screen. So let's dive into this. Now, here's what I'm actually going to say before we even do. I'm going to riff on this just a little bit for a second. Because some of you, and this is what I am practicing right now, I am putting out a piece of content across like 4 channels a day. It is way too much. Like, I do not suggest doing it across 4 channels a day. We have one, this is actually my team. My team on one of our channels is doing 10 pieces of content a day, which sounds ridiculous until you think about what we're about to talk about. One of my channels, what do we have now? Maybe 2 to 3 a day. And then the 2 channels that I personally do, like this channel and my Jake the Affiliate channel, my goal is 1 piece of long form content every single day. And most people will say, you can't have content that's good in quality if you do it at that clip. Your quality suffers, so it's not worth it. I want you to think about it in the terms of you have to build a library that your ideal customer can actually view. I don't care how much they like you. If there is not a library of content that interests them, then they will not come back because there's nothing to watch. If you're in your first month, second month, third month, obviously this is an older channel, but the direction's been flipped a little bit or more structured now. And there's not enough of my ideal customer to binge the content that I want them to binge. So right now, I am pumping out a ridiculous amount of daily content because I want my ideal customer to come onto my YouTube page and to build a relationship with me by being able to binge watch a lot of my content around the topic that we care about, which is hitting these consistent 10K months. So this is something we're going to see is through all 4 of these channels, what about them made them binge-worthy? Why is it that people don't just watch them occasionally? Don't just like randomly see one. They might see like 10 videos of this person and go, oh, this one looks good, I'll watch this one. They watch basically every video these people post. Or they come across this person and then binge watch through the library of content that they have. And hopefully, it's almost impossible not to get something out of this video. But a lot of people will probably get different things depending on the stage of your channel and your experience. So one that I actually reference a lot because I don't know why these guys made me just think about this a lot early on. So about 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, is when I actually got my Doberman. About 2 years ago, maybe a little over 2 years ago, is when I started researching it. And this might have been one of the channels on YouTube that I really binged hard for the first time. There's been quite a few channels I binged hard since then. But this guy, now you might hear of Doberman Planet and think, okay, obviously their avatars Doberman owners. And I would challenge that premise a little bit. And I'd be curious, he might not even like think about it from this perspective. But I have a feeling this is actually true for this channel, is their primary avatar is all Doberman owners, but I would say about 75% of the focus or 75% of the people who are actively watching them are in the stage of thinking about owning a Doberman, so in the research phase or in the first year of life, because that's when you have so many questions about the breed. It's a very, very unique breed. It's a guard dog. So what does it mean? Is it going to be okay around my family? What should I expect for a puppy? How do I train this dog? How much is it going to cost? What's the difference in an American and a European breed? Like people don't like accidentally get Dobermans. Should I crop their ears? Should I dock their tail? So this is when people will just binge the crap out of this because there's so much information they want before they make this truly big investment, right? Financial investment because they're expensive dogs, financial investment because of training, but also time investment because these daggum dogs are Velcro dogs. Like I love my dog Zeus, but that little sucker is like glued to the side of my leg at all times, which I love. Big fan of it. My wife doesn't love it quite as much as I do, but she still does love him, obviously. So that's why, like, if you were to actually, let's do this. Let's look at popular and see which videos have been the most popular on his channel. Different from other dogs. Again, people in the research phase, people are thinking, I want to go get this dog. I don't know enough about them. Like, what's the difference? 3,000 versus 600. people are trying to decide, like, am I really willing to shell out $3,000 to $5,000 for this dog? I can get one down the street for $500. What's the difference in these dogs? Male versus female. Again, which one do I want to buy? American versus European. Which one do I want to buy? All the colors. Like, is there actually a difference? Which one's the best? Is there a genetic factor to it? What's the family experience going to be like when this Doberman comes into my house? My first week with my new puppy. So you see this. I'd be very curious if he has ever really, really thought about the difference between just general Doberman content, because there definitely are people who have lost Dobermans and then come back and watch this content because, man, I miss this dog. This was such a great dog. I love him. It reminds me of him, so on and so forth. But you can see all these first 8 videos are in the research phase. Doberman is a nightmare for intruders. Thinking about, can this dog actually be a guard dog? Weird ways they show their love. Now, this might be the first one where it's like, okay, my dog has this really weird quirk. Let me go see if there's a video about why my dog is doing this weird thing. And now you start to get some of those, right? Like, you can start looking at some of these. Still, a lot of them are in the research phase. A lot, and he clearly understands this because so many of his videos are in the research phase. So again, this goes back to deeply understanding your avatar. If these videos were primarily about my dog is too, this would be fine, but it's just a different person that you're targeting. I just got a 2-year-old rescue. What do I do with this dog? That is vastly different than I just got a puppy. How do I train him in the first week? So understanding. And obviously I can't make caveats for all of this because it's just so dependent on your niche, but understanding who's coming to your channel and why they are coming there, what questions they are asking, is just so important. So that being said, like I mean, you can see it. You can see how hard I binge this channel in my research phase. In fact, some of the videos, which I 100% watched, don't have the red line, but you can see most of them. Red line, red line, red line, red line. I mean, I started enjoying his content so much that I started watching videos that I didn't have the question about, but I said, oh, I could see me having this question at some point. Let me go ahead and bank the knowledge. So I'm going to watch this video. I absolutely tore through this channel because we were making this decision and I didn't want to make a bad 10 to 15 year commitment to a dog if it wasn't the right decision for me and my family. So hopefully you see, and you can go back and look at his channel and do some investigation on your own, but you can see it's also, I mean, if you go all the way back to what we talked about here, you do have to do these two things, right? Like, obviously there's a lot more than just having a lot of content that someone is able to consume. It needs to be in a way that is interesting for them to receive the content, and they should leave the content saying, oh, now I know this thing. Yes, now this question that I have has been answered. Now I've thought about this idea I didn't think about before. Like something, there should be a positive result or emotion that they have when they leave your content. So that's number one, Doberman Planet, a channel that I personally binged. So I thought you could see a lot of the features, not to mention he's been going for 4 years. I'll say this before I move on. This is a guy who I hire as a coach. I pay him like $16K a month. Very, very expensive. He's 100% worth it. So thankful for him. But he's been going for like 3 years and does like 1 video a week. So a lot of people say, Jake, just like you should just be consistent. You should do 1 to 2 videos a week. That's good. And I will always say, like, it's better to be consistent at 1 video a week than 5 and then 2 months without posting, right? Like, of course. But I can't catch up to 4 years worth of content unless I do it at a different rate. I'm telling you, I have a channel where we put out 10 pieces of content a day because I'm not thinking about like this piece of content going viral today. It's when someone finds my channel and they like what they see, I want them to be able to watch I want them to get hooked on other stuff while they're there, and they can't get hooked if there's not enough content to hook them. So again, we think about YouTube as a long-term play, not a how do I go viral in 1 video. This isn't TikTok or Instagram. We are building long-term followers and fans, and we're building relationships with them for life to help them solve their pain points. Number 2 is Caedrel. This is in the gaming niche. Now, there are so many examples in the gaming niche. So if you think about how binge watching works in gaming, and this is through pretty much any kind of gaming, I love the variety of these channels that we're looking at because it just shows there's so many different ways to do this in so many different niches. And there's opportunity to take something that's working in another niche and implement it into yours. For example, I've got one, again, Christian, previously youth pastor. I've got something that I would love to do in church niche that very few people do and would absolutely crush, but there's only so much time in the day. Anyways, so a lot of gaming content starts with streaming, right? So these guys stream 24/7. And I'm trying to remember there was a point for him. He was a caster in European League of Legends and he started streaming. I don't remember, he started streaming outside of the league. Eventually he left being a caster and became just a streamer. I really haven't watched his content in a long time, but you can see, I mean, first of all, when it comes to library, you're going back years and years and years and years. You can see World Finals. You can see clash of like two of the best League of Legends teams out there. You can see this was a big one for him. He really connected to a certain player. So that became a big part of his brand, was loving the guy by the name of The Shy. So we see the bank is massive. He's putting out a massive amount of content. I do think he's pulled his content back a little bit. Let's see. How much does he do now? So he's changed it a little bit. And this is one of the things about the strategy I mentioned is right now I'm putting out a piece of content a day. That is not the long-term plan, right? So as we grow, eventually it goes down to 4 a week, 3 a week, 2 a week, 1 a week. We can pull that back, but you just have to have content that people are interested in. Now, the difference in something like gaming, we're going to see this in another channel we look at in a minute. Something like Doberman Planet, it is very, very evergreen. It is very like, I had this question and this video is applicable for the next 15 years. On this channel, apart from big events like a world event or something, a lot of what this viewer wants to see is what is happening in this world today, right? Like the game that happened today, I want to see Cagel's commentary on this game. I want to see his feedback on this game. So it's super important. I mean, for someone like Cagel, like his amount of content that he's going to have to publish is always going to have to be really, really high because people are coming to his channel to know about the thing that is going on today. It's also so heavily streaming based that all of his content is just clipped from streaming and then put up onto YouTube. He doesn't have to make things that are separate just for YouTube. But you can see any big event, I think they're in a Worlds event now, it looks like, based on Swiss stage. If a big game happens in Worlds, people are going to go watch his content. I know this for a fact, which this is just a fascinating way. Like, people forget that this is human nature. I'll do this with Duke basketball, actually, in some cases. People will watch a League of Legends match. They'll watch it with the casters, and then they'll go back to 2, 3, 4 different streamers who post either highlights or the full game. And now not only do they want to hear the main event with the casters, then they want to hear their favorite streamers or favorite YouTubers, their perspective on that same match. And that might sound crazy, but for those of us like myself who grew up with SportsCenter, and then we watched Pardon the Interruption, and then we watched, gosh, I don't remember what all the different shows were, but we wanted different perspectives on the same event. So never think that like just because there's this one streamer or this one person doing this piece of content, sometimes people just want a different perspective on the exact same event. A really cool strategy is to find people doing similar content to you and look for opportunities to partner with them, to get exposure by helping them in some way. And people get introduced to you and then just start to form a relationship with you based on that content. Number 3 is a political show called Two Way. Now, again, this is going to be much more similar to something in the gaming niche where you are going to have to post content daily to stay relevant, right? Like if I come in to watch Two Way, they actually do a show every morning. So some of their like unique spin is they have Mark Halperin, who is a journalist, would consider himself very nonpartisan. And then they have Sean Spicer, who used to be a Republican. It's Caroline Leavitt's current job, whatever that press secretary. Gosh, can't believe I forgot that. And then Dan Turrentine, who was a fundraiser and I believe worked under Hillary at one point or for Hillary. I don't know what that connection is. So you got really good, reasonable people on both sides. It's a very unique show because a lot of people consider either Republicans super unreasonable and like it's obviously because politics is so polarizing. It's hard to have a conversation that seems like it's in good faith between Republicans and Democrats. And that's something this show is able to do really, really well. Because all three people just like each other and you can actually feel that. So even when they vehemently disagree, they do it actually caring about the other person. And always this, they have like a saying that I can't remember off the top of my head, but the idea of having grace for one another and understanding. And even when you disagree with someone, coming from the approach of like, I want to learn how they think because clearly I don't understand it right now. So a really good identity, a really good brand. They say it at every show that this is kind of like our unique angle on politics. So again, if you go into an industry that is really, it has a lot of competition, you need that uniqueness. You need something about your channel that other people don't have, something about your brand that is unique to you, something about your personality that's unique. Again, I have a video idea coming that is just mind-boggling that it works, but after you think about it for 5 seconds, it makes complete sense. Anyways, again, just an incredibly bingeable content. It is built on the idea of there's a morning show and there's an evening show and then occasional shows stacked on top of that. They're actually in the process of building it more into a network than just a single YouTube channel. But again, hopefully you can get ideas of like, okay, who is my avatar? What is going to make them want to come back and binge my content? Is it like it's news related, so I have to constantly be talking about the news? Is it gaming related or sports related, so I constantly have to be talking about this? Or is it more evergreen where I can answer these questions and really show off my personality? So people just decide that they want to hear my perspective on that question because they know, like, and trust you. One more channel. I think this one is incredibly relevant to the conversation we're having here. Ryan Clogg. Now, I'll butcher some of this. He is, gosh, does he have the name of the company he works with? He does not. He is I don't think he was not a co-founder, but he's a co-owner. And I believe the operator of they do over $100 million a month in revenue. Something in the fitness industry. I believe it's like it's not Lady Boss, but I think it's a competitor to Lady Boss, or maybe it is Lady Boss. I don't remember. It's not really the point because this was a personal channel that he started developing. So he got in this rhythm of posting daily. I should have looked this up before I got on. He has 146 videos and we're going to go back and see actually his very first post because I think this is really important here because this is going to go into the idea of like, if you're starting now, start pumping content out so people can binge it. So we can go back. His first one's 5 years ago, but he started posting consistently at like 7 months ago. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He did 9 videos in that first month. And then a few months ago, I don't know when he started this, maybe around that 6-month mark, he started posting every day for 30 days and then basically continued that. Let me see what his rhythm is now. Oh, wow. He stopped posting a lot recently. 1 month ago, 1 month. He was putting out killer content. I mean, he was going and interviewing some of the biggest name guys out there. He was really doing a good job about connecting with his audience. So he would read comments, but he would also go onto Twitter and say, hey, what do you guys want to talk about? Who do you want to see next? And so he was very engaged with his audience, which I think is going to be a massive piece of things to come in the AI industry. Like, you need to have relationships with your audience and find ways to communicate with them back and forth. Twitter is a great way to do that. Obviously, having conversations or highlighting comments or responding to comments and videos, all of those things can do it as well. So what made this so unbelievably bingeable was the guests he was having on, right? Like Will Brown's made $20 million. I don't think it's selling courses. I think it's mainly coaching. Josh Snow, I actually don't know a lot about his story. Jeremy Haynes was the first time I actually heard about Jeremy Haynes, who helps guys trying to hit $100 million a month or works with guys who are like over $100,000 a month and are working up to $100 million a month, which just sounds crazy. Jason Fladlian, which is one of my like OG favorite people to watch in the marketing space. Learned a ton from this guy. WAP obviously being a really big, I think this is WAP. I might be wrong. I know there's some interviews with WAP. Founders or main guys. Media buyers doing over 100K, and that's in the pay-per-call space. Quite a few videos with Josh Gavin, who does low ticket into high ticket. I think he helps people with their low ticket offer. Oh man, it's just fire. Like, this is the kind of content. Nick Fisher, I've started watching some of his stuff recently. Cole Gordon, this video was phenomenal too. There's the WAP video down here. But you can just see, like, if you are interested in making money and building a really big business, he is just talking to guys who have done it. And so much of his style is, I've done this, but I still have a lot of questions. Like, let me just bring on guys that I'm interested in, ask them questions, learn about their industry, try to see if there's something that they are doing that I can implement in our business, or just like be interested in it and want to learn. It was very much like you took so much away from every video because he did such a good job. First, taking questions from the audience to ask people, but also the questions he was asking them. And you got to be a part of a learning experience at a really, really high level. I mean, these are like mastermind level conversations that you're getting to just watch for free. So, but again, at the end of the day, like, if you come across a piece of his content, he's only been going for 7 months. So let's say, what is that? 4 times 7. So a normal guy who's doing like 1 video a week, and he does it for 7 months. He's got like 25 to 30 pieces of content. He's probably missed a couple weeks, so maybe even a little less than 25. So you find a guy, you really like his content. You watch 2 videos, and now it's like, okay, this one doesn't apply to me. This one's not interesting. I'll watch this one. But you run out of content to binge very, very quickly. And then the problem becomes, like, what? You just forget about them. I mean, in today's world, there's so many people vying for your attention. If someone stops posting or stops making content that you care about, or you can't go back and binge their old content, they're just going to stop listening to you and go start watching somebody else. So hopefully you guys get what I'm trying to lay down in this video. There's a lot here, right? There's a lot of things that you can do on your channel to, again, create the obsession matrix that people are obsessed, that they binge your content, that every time your video comes out, they're clicking on it, that they are constantly going through your library. They want to see what you say about this event in the world. They want to see what you say about this question in your industry. And even if there are a billion, I know we all talk about finding outliers. We talk about going and finding videos with the potential of virality. This is just as important. This is just as important because when someone comes across you and they want to start learning from you, they need to have a library of content. So please, let me encourage you, start posting as much as possible. I don't care how against like the norms it is. Put out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces of content a day, as long as you can keep the quality that you want it to be at, because then people are going to be able to binge your content. And then again, obviously, always make sure it's being delivered in a way that your audience enjoys it, which is going to be different for every audience, and that your content actually provides value so they leave going, I had this aha moment, or I had my question answered, or man, I like this guy. I can't wait till his next video, or let me go find another video, or dadgummit, I've got to go do this errand. I wish I had more time to sit down and watch his content because I enjoy it so much. So always think through the eye of a viewer, not just the eye of a creator, and you're going to kill it. Make sure to go down into the link in the description. There should be 2 links. One, if you want to go ahead and book a call and see if we qualify to work together, we'll jump on a call. We'll talk about your business. We'll see if it's a good fit. If we both think so, we'll work together. But I also have a free guide, free training to get to consistent 10K months down in the description as well. So check that out. Hope you will subscribe, and I'll see you soon on the next video.